Wow, things I do for this channel. It is early. It is probably 5 a.m. Uh, but there's a reason that I'm up this early, and that is going to Washington, D.C. to check out the Air and Space Museum, the White House, the Museum of Natural History, American history, this history, that history, every history. I actually don't have enough time to go to all those, but we're going to go to the big ones and hang out, do a little sightseeing, wandering around, maybe see the president, maybe the vice president, who knows? Probably not, but I have a feeling that it's going to be a good trip. So I got to get out of here, flying out. And while I got you guys here, wanted to thank everybody that has subscribed. I don't make any money on this channel. I'm not one of those big YouTubers that's like getting money off these views. As a matter of fact, I don't make anything off of it. I just enjoy making these videos. So if you guys enjoy seeing them, the best way to let me know that you like them is to go ahead and subscribe. Comment, tell me when I get things wrong, and that's about it. I mean, that's how you interact with me. Send me messages, whatever, and I, try to respond to what I can. But it does mean a lot when you guys subscribe, because when subscribers hit that button, it tells me that not only did people watch the channel, but they enjoyed what they saw or that they want to see more of it. And that's really kind of what we're doing here. So go ahead, and if you don't, you don't dig it, that's fine. I don't subscribe to most of the channels I watch either, but if you like what you're seeing, you enjoy the content, hit the button, and that lets me know that you guys like it. All right, that's enough rambling. I got to get to the airport and get moving, so come along with me. Let's go to the nation's capital and see where all our tax dollars go. So here we are, Washington, D.C., just outside the White House on Pennsylvania Avenue. This used to all be cordoned off. They didn't want anybody near the fences, I'm sure, for security purposes or whatever. But it's opened up now, and so we got to walk right down Pennsylvania Avenue. But one of the best parts of of going down here this night was there was this like street performer guy playing a trombone. Man, he was good. He was really good. So I'm not even going to talk over it. I'm just going to let you enjoy the sweet, sweet sounds. Now, at this point, I'm actually using the camera to try to see snipers on the roof, because we've all heard about those guys. And you can see there is some equipment up there. I'm not sure if that's left over. I mean, if you're there at the right time, you can see them doing shift changes. Guys will actually walk out with sniper rifles and bags. But there, I didn't see anybody up there, but that didn't mean they weren't there. At this point, we're just kind of trying to see if Trump was in the building. Uh, there's Dad getting his pictures. But yeah, you get right up on the fence. I think Trump was there because the Marines were standing out front outside the West Wing, the Oval Office, and they're only ever there unless he's there. So it was pretty cool. I actually I had a good time that night. Can I get good pictures of you and Ben? You guys good today, good? So now we're outside the front of the White House near, I think they call it the Ellipse, and we're just kind of trying to get some pictures and heading over towards the National Mall near the Washington Monument. And this is right before they were getting ready for the Easter egg roll, so there was a lot of tents and a lot of parking being set aside. They're going to have a big time there in Washington. We took off the Saturday before, but yeah, it was pretty cool to see the place getting set up for Easter. They really do it up big there. And this just kind of shows you that Washington Reagan International Airport's just off to the south, and those planes are not allowed to fly near the White House. You can see making a really big arching bank to avoid going near the Washington Mall. It's a big no-no, and they know it. So it's kind of cool to see all the planes banking hard and going the other way just because it's off limits. So now we've made our way over to the Smithsonian, and it's kind of a iconic building out on the Washington Mall. And we're just kind of cruising along, seeing what we could see. We were actually on our way to the Capitol for a Capitol tour, but there's so much to see and do in DC that if you have a plan, you might as well plan to be late because you're going to see things that catch your eye that cause you to slow down. And it did. And Dad, being a lifelong, pipe fitter, construction worker, his whole life, every time he saw a crane or a pit or a construction yard, we had to go look at it. And that's fine. I kind of was interested in it as well. But yeah, there's a lot of work being done in DC. And if you have somebody with you that's interested in that kind of thing, they're going to want to go look at it. It's a hubbub of activity, and there's always something being built, fixed, restored, you name it. So now we're at the Capitol building here, and we took a detour and went inside the conservatory or botanical gardens outside the Capitol. It's really kind of neat. I didn't even know it was there. It was about 60 degrees outside, and you walk in, and it's about 95 degrees with 100% humidity. It just fogs your glasses up. It's instantly hot. You just start to sweat. It's pretty cool. And it's really a nice place to go relax. So if you are near, and tip, this is a good tip. If you need to use a restroom and you're in that area, go to that particular botanical gardens. It has the best restrooms. It even has an attendant there. It's pretty slick. So we've made it into the Capitol. They're taking us around to the original part that did not burn down after the British burned it in the War of 1812. They took us into the rotunda. You can see that this probably looks familiar. Trump was sworn in here. Reagan was sworn in here. Every president that's ever died, or most of them, have laid in state here. So this is under the rotunda. And all that artwork, all of those scenes depict something that happened in American history. And the artwork up on the ceiling is just impressive. You don't even have to be a fan of art to look around there and just say, wow, this is something to behold. So after we got done with that, we're kind of cruising around, trying to head back to the hotel. There's a lot more that went into that, but they wouldn't let you take pictures inside the actual Senate and the House of Representatives. So went back, hopped on the subway. That's another modern marvel, just the subway system within DC. We took that everywhere. It was great because I'm telling you, my feet hurt like never before. And the last thing I want to do is walk 5 or 6 miles back to the hotel. So this was kind of a godsend. For $2.25, you go just about anywhere you want. And I'm a fan. Color me a fan. And they were clean. No bums or anything. But here we had the Vice President of the United States come by. Listen close. I'll let Dad tell you what he thinks of it. Listen real close. Like he said, who could be that effing important? He's probably right, but there goes the vice president right there. They went by our hotel because the Naval Observatory, which is where the vice president resides while in office, is up the street from us a few miles, so it was kind of cool. He'd go by every morning making noise and go after work, going home every night. That'd make a lot of noise. But here we are in the Air and Space Museum on the National Mall. Had to get tickets for this. It's quite the draw. It's not hard to get tickets, but you should get them in advance if you're going, and you got to pick a time and a date. You can't just show up and walk in. But it was worth it. Quite a few artifacts were behind walls because they're actually doing a renovation. So there was a lot of stuff we didn't get to see, but they got a lot of cool stuff that's still out there. And no, we don't actually have an X-wing TIE fighter in our arsenal for the military, but that stuff was used in some of the making of the Star Wars movies, so it qualifies as space and air. Very cool, very cool. You'll see that in the video coming up here in a little bit. But it was just quite an impressive collection of aircraft. The only other museum that kind of rivals it, I would say, would be the Air Force Museum in Dayton, Ohio. But this one's got a lot of cool stuff in it. Stuff that it's not just Air Force, civilian, you name it, they've got it. A lot of space things. You'll see that again in the video coming along. But this is just the entryway as you come into the museum. There's that X-wing fighter. There's a lot of people just hanging out. This is the inside of that 747. They actually cut the nose piece off of it and just erected it onto the side of the wall inside. It's an old Northwestern 747. Kind of cool. It gives you an impressive scale of what that airplane actually is and how large it is, how much space it takes up. That's just the nose. A lot of older aircraft. Again, you guys in the comments can tell me what those aircraft are. I think I read the signs, but I was moving along so fast I really didn't get a chance to take it all in. They were aircraft that were around before I was, so I wouldn't have recognized them because I never saw any of those fly in my lifetime. I did see the Patty Wagstaff plane upside down there, as you can see. That was kind of cool. Just a lot of neat aircraft, a lot of artifacts there that you're not going to see anywhere else, especially the space stuff. I mean, if you can go see a spacesuit that walked on the moon, this is the place to go see it, and you'll see that coming up here shortly.
That'd set you back about 150 grand if you tried to buy it now. Or more. Don't give it a 59.
Yeah. So what we have here are some engines and parts and pieces to SR-71 Blackbirds. The actual airplane is out near Dulles Airport, where they have the big hangar with all the intact airplanes. If you need to go see a Concorde, an SR-71, a lot of those cool planes are out there. Didn't make it out there. It's quite the hustle to get out there. It's nowhere near the downtown National Mall. So that'll be on the list for another time. But I hear it's quite the spot. But they had plenty to see and do inside the museum here. Now, they were focusing on women and speed. So they had NASCAR, they had Indy cars. Just the first, they had Patty Wagstaff's airplane. I mean, they're really focusing on going fast and, women taking the reins in aviation. So there's a lot of that. They kind of have that going on as their theme. But you could see just about anything. They got like Red Bull racing engines from those Red Bull airplanes. There's a lot of really impressive engineering, feats of engineering. And not just in this museum. If you were to go to the American Museum, American history, steam engines and all kinds of cool stuff. If you're a gearhead or a motorhead, that's the place to be. Now, because they're focusing on speed, a lot of NASCAR artifacts, including Dale Earnhardt, his helmet, Hans device that a lot of them are wearing now. Had Mario Andretti's Indy car. I didn't expect to see this stuff in the Air and Space Museum, but I guess if the theme is going fast, you got to include that. So now we're getting back to the aircraft. These are all scale models. These are all 1/200, 1/400 scale models, which I find to be pretty cool. So I was kind of taking those in, being an av geek, if you will. Those kind of appealed to me. And then they got the different flight suits, the guys that flew the U-2 spy planes and things like that. It's quite the museum. It's really, really interesting. And if you're into aviation, if you're into, well, in this case, model airplanes, anything that has wings, you might want to go in there and check it out. It's really worth the visit. Again, you got to get tickets because everybody and their brother enjoys going and looking at aviation stuff. I don't know what it is. It's a fever, and everybody's got it. So, if you go, try to make sure that you plan ahead. And as you can see, there's quite a few things to look at. Mars rovers. How often are you going to get close enough to a Mars rover unless you're on Mars? And I don't see any of us going there soon, but you never know. It's really well laid out, and you need to take and spend the day there because you are going to need a lot of time. And it's just if you're a motorhead, if you're an engineering geek, if you're an aviation geek, if you're a speed geek, and I don't mean the dope and the drugs, I mean going fast, that kind of speed geek. This is going to be right up your alley, and you know, take some time because it's really worth it. It's really worth looking at. But this is the kind of stuff that got me the moon and space exhibitions here. These are actual artifacts. These have actually flown in space. That what you're seeing right there is probably one of the coolest things I saw. That is the astronaut suit that Neil Armstrong wore when he walked on the moon. All those videos you see of him hopping around on the moon and putting the flag down and making his radio transmissions came from inside that suit. That not one that looks like it, not one that's kind of like it, not one that was like a spare. That one was on the moon. Still has dust on the legs, has gray powder right around, see on the back ankles there. That's cool. To me, that's cool. Some people could give two rips about it, but I thought that was cool as hell. So you can go ahead and pause it if you want to read any of this, but you get the gist. I mean, that was an impressive feat, and to be able to stand next to a spacesuit that was on the moon is pretty cool. What you're looking at here are the remnants of the rocket boosters from the Apollo 11 Atlas rocket that were just recently, in the last 10 years, pulled out of the ocean. They splashed down and went to the bottom of the ocean and stayed there for about 40 years. And they just now recently had those pulled out in the last 10 or 15 years. It was impressive. But yeah, it was something else. And you're just kind of cruising around looking. They got some GE engines if you're into looking at turbofans and things that go on commercial aircraft. This would be right up your alley as well. Just kind of cruising around, getting the lay of the land. They got the Wright brothers. Now, obviously, it's not the Wright brothers airplane, but they do have a couple mock-ups of it. And it's just, if you're an av geek, this is your spot. This is back outside the Air and Space Museum. A lot of construction going on, but they're going to have that wrapped up by the beginning of summer. And, you know, there's a lot of cool art to look at. Big marble slabs and pond. And I just thought it was kind of cool that here the birds are finding a way to adapt and live amongst all the people, eating, you know, grubs and popcorn and whatever people throw in that fountain and getting it out. I just thought it was pretty cool how nature kind of finds a way to adapt to the things that we put in front of them. And those birds are no different. They're just kind of doing their own thing. It's kind of crazy.
I know. Intruders.
So now we have arrived at the National Archives building. And why is this important? Because it houses the documents that provide you with the rights that you enjoy today. The Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and other documents are there, ready for viewing. They encourage you to take pictures. It used to be a thought that you couldn't actually take pictures of it, but they do, and they encourage you to. And to look at the actual papers, the very documents that provide us with our rights and our freedoms, and the very thing that people have fought wars with us over, are right there under a piece of glass. That is amazing to me. Um, Again, if you paid any attention in civics class, you should go in there, look at those, and appreciate what they represent. Now, here we're just kind of going out into the sculpture garden just to kind of take a break because I'm telling you, feet were barking. Those dogs were barking. Back on the subway. Gotta love the subway. Get you anywhere you want to go. Can't say that enough. And it's clean. There's no bums. It was great. Now we are at the Museum of American History. Really, really cool stuff in here. And this was just the top floor for the pop culture stuff. There was Prince's guitar, obviously Star Wars stuff, but this was the best part. Archie Bunkers' chair. Archie and Dingbat. Oh, Archie. Yeah, that was a great show, All in the Family. But the actual chair, I mean, how cool is that? And if that wasn't cool enough, we got Bert and Ernie. You can't go wrong with Bert and Ernie. All the kids of the 80s grew up. Another cool item, very cool. The top hat that Abraham Lincoln was wearing on the night he got shot at Ford's Theater. The hat. Just let that sink in. Very cool. Here's a picture of George Washington's chair that sat next to his bed when he died. He was using that chair. Just these kind of things, if you're a history nut, they just kind of let that sink in, you know? It's history, and that's not cool enough. How about Washington's dress uniform? You can't find that anywhere else. Worth millions of dollars if you could even price it. And this is the White House Welcome Center. Again, you can pause it and read some of these plaques. That there is the eagle off the original flagpole that flew over the White House. It flew there for the last 100 years. So, and again, you can read it. There's the telegraph piece that was used when Lincoln waited to hear from Ulysses S. Grant that the Civil War was over. Very impressive. Yeah. So that's a wrap. Back from Washington, heading back to Indiana. An hour drive from Dayton. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and do all the things. I don't even know how to do all the things, but if you know how to do all the things, do them. Helps the channel. All right. See you on the next one, folks.